Oh, hello, Scott.
Now we're live. Now they can see us, Scott. They can see, they can hear us. Scott White in the chat says hi.
Hello.
YouTube's
Hi,
got to
Scott.
change. Like, they're discontinuing another like back end thing, and it's like I gotta set up these live streams differently again.
I hate that shit.
I hate it, but I figured it out this time, and I'm using the new system just like before they take the old system away. So I'm just like I'm on it now. It's not terrible. It's just different, you know.
Yeah.
Do you know if you're getting your Stadia day one?
I was. I'm not anymore. I just not that. Well, one, my internet situation is like clearly way worse than I thought it would be. So,
Sure.
it's just probably not a viable solution for me right now. But two, I'm like, I honestly just can't afford it. Like, I don't necessarily want to spend that 180 on which could be 3 different video games on that. My money's been like way tighter than I'd like to say, but I just paid off all my credit card debt this week, so
Proud of you, boss.
I am like now saving money and accumulating money.
No, I was curious because like I just heard about the Stadia thing, but like you might not even get your thing that you pre-ordered. I was like, oh, that's weird.
Yeah, they're like not going to be able to meet some of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I didn't get an alert about it, but I got to cancel that pre-order. You know what? I'm going to do that right now because if I don't, I'm going to forget.
You're like, oh, Watch Dogs 2 all over again.
Yep. God, there was another game that I almost had that happen with recently. Store.stadia.com. Oh, it's $129. Still.
But still, if you have data caps, it's gonna fucking chew right through that.
Luckily, I don't. If I did,
Shout out to not having data
I would
caps.
leave the country, honestly.
Oh, weird question. You don't have BIOS, do you, Alex?
I used to. I don't anymore.
Oh, damn. Could have Disney Plus a year for free.
Oh, I know. I know. Trust me. Ordered. Did I already pay for it? No, I didn't. Cancel Stadia Founder Edition bundle? Night Blue?
Oh no.
Canceled. Get dunked on 136.74 after tax. Okay.
Take that, Google.
Take that, Google. You'll get my money probably tomorrow when I pay for YouTube Premium. Y'all ready to start?
YouTube, Brad?
YouTube Premium, please. They've rebranded.
Why do you have YouTube?
Have you ever like experienced YouTube Premium?
I mean,
No.
Yes, with my AdBlock Plus.
Yeah, I don't use AdBlock Plus, Tony. I'm not ever going to. So
Oh, that's a bad idea.
I support my creators. It's fine. I don't.
Use a whitelist.
Also, I just watched the
Oh,
ad.
no.
There's a completely different reason to use an AdBlock Plus that has nothing to do with being able to skip
Exactly.
like ads on people you want to support.
Yeah, but like I also don't like use skeezy websites. So like,
Well, it's not even about the websites at this point. The most vulnerable plate for any website is the ad share. It's the most attacked place because it's the most far-reaching.
yeah. Again, this is not the conversation I wanted to have. I use YouTube Premium, and Nabish understands why. That's all I need. That's all
I
need.
asked. That's the question I asked. Like, what's going on with YouTube Premium? Like, what made it?
I use it's like the no ads, honestly, but also being able to download things on my phone and play them later is so nice. And also a feature that is ridiculous that is behind a paywall on the YouTube app on the phone. You can like listen audio only if you have YouTube Premium, which I actually do all the time because I watch most of my podcasts on YouTube. So I just like can listen to them as podcasts on my phone instead of like having to have the video up all the time. Why that's behind a paywall? It's like the most weirdly specific feature. I don't know, but like honestly, like I don't because I don't have TV at all, or I don't pay for any TV services. All I pay for is YouTube Premium, and like I feel good about it. That's like my one video spending thing that I have per month.
Hulu.
Yeah, I don't even have Hulu.
Really?
Yeah, I don't have Hulu or Netflix or anything at this point.
If you have, what was it? There's some. Do you have Spotify Premium?
I don't.
Oh, okay. Well, if you,
You
have
get
that,
you get
have
like Hulu for free with that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which
And
is
you
clutch.
have, and also you have access to Crunchyroll and all that other shit too through me.
Oh yeah, true.
Spotify's pretty good.
Spotify's pretty good. Yeah, I
Spotify's
use that.
pretty good.
I have it because work.
Let's start a podcast. Let's do that.
All right.
All right. I canceled my. Mike says he doesn't have premium. He's able to listen to audio only. That's weird. Maybe they.
But Mike's on Android.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, that's true. What's up, Notion?
No, everything just froze for like 5 seconds.
Oh.
What just happened?
What happened? I canceled my Stadia pre-order, Scott. How I listen to also a lot of podcasts. Yeah, it might be because Mike's on Android. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's start. It is Saturday, October 26th, 2019, and you are listening to the Irrational Passions podcast. I'm Alex O'Neill, your podcast conductor, and my podcast cohorts include Mr. Scott Guthier,
Hello.
Tony Horvath,
What's up?
and Brian Nobshin Jackson.
You a Joe?
Joining us on the editorial side of things this week, we have Mr. Quentin Hoffman. Hi, Quentin.
Well, howdy.
Hi,
Alex.
welcome
Hi,
to our...
Scott. Hi, Nobishin. Hi, Tony.
Hey,
See,
hello.
you said hi to everyone. That's sweet. Welcome to our rotating fifth chair. Quinn, how are you feeling this evening?
I'm all right. This has been a week.
A good week?
Just a meh week.
All right. I'll take like
I
a
could have
50,
been better.
a 50 out of 100 week.
Yeah.
I'm into that. One thing that you have been doing this week, which I would very much like to talk about, is you've been playing The Outer Worlds, Quinn. And we're going to get right into it, because Rational Passions Podcast is a podcast where we talk about video games. You've heard of us before. You know. You're here. Let's hang out. Let's talk about games. Quinn, you got a copy of The Outer Worlds on Thursday.
Yep.
Very, very thankful we got it. We got coded all for it. We got a little bit later than everybody else, but NBD, you got to sink some time into it a little early. You've been playing it. How much time have you put into it as of today, Saturday?
Probably like 8 hours, 10 hours.
Okay. First impressions. How you feel about The Outer Worlds?
Yes.
Yes. Why yes?
So this game, so for those who don't know, since that like initial reveal trailer at the Game Awards last year, I was like 100% in on this game. Like I don't care what it is, just give it to me. Obsidian's making an RPG of some sort that's first person. It's in space. I don't care. Just give it to me. And so as previews came out, I was getting more and more eager for it, and I learned, it's capitalism gone bad. I mean, we kind of live in a capitalist wasteland now, but I don't want to get into that.
Sure.
But no, it's just, this game is so fascinating. It is so fascinating to me. So I'm going to use Star Trek as an example. In Star Trek, for like the Federation doesn't use money. They don't have an economy, so to speak, because things would go bad. Capitalism runs amok, yada, yada, yada. But there's a race called the Ferengi. And for those who don't know,
Boy,
the
we're
Ferengi
just into it immediately.
are like just total shitbags. They'll exploit people. They do anything to make money. And they know how to make money like very well. And so that's basically what happened is in the Outer Worlds is people have just gotten so exploited that they don't know that they're being exploited anymore. And that's one of those things that just like stuck with me immediately. Is I go into the first zone called the Emerald Vale, which we'll talk about in length. And there's this church there. And so I'm talking to the priestly guy, and his whole like theology is work, and it's all based around work. So these people have been ingrained from the day they have been born to work and support these corporations.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, holy shit, this is a lot to handle.
I think we're too micro I think let's zoom out a little bit. The Outer
Okay.
Worlds is a first person RPG.
Yeah.
It's I would say it's very similar to a Fallout.
New Vegas.
In any Fallout, any of the modern Fallout 3, Fallout 4, or New Vegas. I think it definitely draws a lot of ties to that RPG system as a whole, right?
Yeah.
I appreciate there's no karma in this game. There's
Yes.
no like meter for your morality. There's just
Yeah.
kind of like where you stand with other people
faction.
and factions.
Mhm.
But yeah, like we're talking like the science hacker, like a bunch of the skill types, right? That you can put skill points into, max out at 100. You have perks that you get every other level that allow you to essentially do feats. It is weird. Like this is the first time I've played one of these games because I also played a little bit of it. After having like just kind of gotten back into a lot of D&D, different D&D things, including like Critical Role and just re-listening to the Adventure Zone and like talking about character builds and stuff. So like it's been a minute since I've played something like this. I think the last time I tried would be like Fallout 4, which I bounced right off of. So going to the character creator and seeing the kind of skill points laid out like that, I have like such a more tabletop like space of mind for what they're going for here, and I think that's good. I think that helps you play a more interesting character. And it's a good character creator with like a lot of options, a lot of different,
very dense.
Yeah, a lot of different origins that you can choose from of like kind of like the desk job equivalent of whatever you were. And there's a lot of different things. Like I like that it's like sign
I chose
spinner.
farmer.
Yeah, I chose like research assistant, like level 0 research assistant, like assistant's assistant essentially, which is cool. Yeah, it is hearkening to one of those kinds of games. Someone like I saw this phrase on Twitter of like imagine being able to get into Fallout without having to carry any of the baggage of like the Fallout franchise. Or like Bethesda, engine or whatever baggage you could apply to it. This is kind of like that. It is like it's its own world, its own story, its own lore. We're all kind of jumping in. So, how do you? So, take me through like what works in this game for you. Like, what drew you to this? I know, but like for the audience.
So for those who don't know, I love Fallout New Vegas. Like wholeheartedly, that's my favorite modern Fallout game. I'm not super familiar with the originals, but I know their influence on games as a whole. And so knowing that Obsidian was going to make this game, no matter what it would be, I was into it. So that's kind of like my history with that. And so I'm so into those systems. Now, so
you also love immersive sims. That's what I was more gearing toward.
And that's the thing is this game gives you a lot of tools, not necessarily a lot of tools, but it's nice having a game where your skills are your tools in a sense. Like the one thing my biggest gripe with the Fallout games, even Elder Scrolls, is that the tools necessarily didn't feel like as good because of how the systems, like the leveling systems, were in place. However, with this, like you can have a lower lockpick skill or a lower hack skill and still get into something regardless of what it is. You can still try to lie to someone, persuade someone, even with a low like skill. You can do that skill check a little bit lower. And that's something that's really stuck with me is I'm maxing out like my persuade, my lie, my intimidate, because I like using the speech skill checks a lot, because they lead to different ways, and I only use lie and persuade because that's what I do in real life. I only lie and persuade. I don't intimidate them because that's just rude. But even it's just the tools are so fun, and even like using melee weapons feels good in this game, which I prefer over the shooting sometimes, which is interesting. But no, the tools feel good, and it's not like even with lockpicking or hacking, it's you can just have say you have like 3 like lockpicks. I think they're called like mag thing, like mag something.
Yeah, mag cylinders or something.
Yeah. You can just walk up to a thing and it'll say 40 over 15, and it'll just use 0 of them. Or it'll be like 45 over 40 and it'll use 3 of them. You don't go into a little like interface where like a thing like that, it's just like, oh, do you have the right thing for it? Cool, you can unlock.
Yeah.
Same with, and that's really like, it makes it simplified instead of doing a hacking mini game or doing a lock picking mini game, because those are just so redundant. And it's just easy. It's accessible.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I think like people are probably gonna be take it or leave it on. Like, I like hacking mini games. I like lock picking mini games if they're done well, but like if they're not done well, it is just like a chore every time. So just like chomping resources to unlock things is fine because you're picking up stuff all the time also.
Yeah, that's the other thing is they spew out resources at you.
At least on like normal difficulties.
Yeah.
I would say like the things that I've kind of like that have stood out to me the most, and I don't necessarily have a full opinion about the world, the lore. I think it's cool. Like, you know, you're this colony of like supposedly some of the most brilliant minds on Earth was sent out and was lost. Like this colony ship, they were all put in like cryogenic sleep, and the ship got lost. It's like, oh, okay, 70 years ago. That was like, you know, I guess that project failed or whatever, or there's some conspiracy, that's my current guess.
Conspiracy,
of course. And so like somebody found the ship and he like thawed you out and he's like, hey, you know, you were a part of this colony that was supposed to be the new hope for humanity to like kind of bring a little bit more balance back to all the different colonies of humanity out there. So I like that setup, and I like the kind of corporate world that they're building. It is very like a little nihilistic, which is kind of just, I'm like super over it at this point. Like I get it. And it is like, I don't know, the stuff that I saw in the first town, like what was actually happening of like, hey, this corporation essentially owns these people. Like not essentially, like on paper, literally owns these people. When they die, they own their corpses, and if their corpses are stolen, that's company property that's stolen. Like that's a thing that is brought up. And I think
they have to pay for their graves before they're dead.
Yeah. I think that's stupid and lame personally. But I think what I like, and the thing that above anything else has stood out to me, is I appreciate the way that they let you ask questions. Like above any game like this, I feel like you get to ask questions in a way that I just haven't before, and it's not necessarily the things you were asking are new or like groundbreaking. I think they're just like phrased in a very straightforward modern way that makes a lot of sense. And it's funny too, because you ask characters these questions like, don't you think that me doing this for this person only to essentially put off the inevitable is a dumb, bad thing? They're like, I never thought of it like that. And then it'll lead into a kind of conversation that is, I just like, maybe it's like more woke, like is what I'm trying to describe it as, but it feels like more real. Like it feels like two people talking to each other way more than a lot of these conversations in video games have felt in games like The Witcher or Fallout or things like that, in a way that like even like the characters are surprised by how like earnest and honest the conversations are. Like in the moment, the way the characters react to some of the like these very deep or genuine questions that you can ask about these topics is like they're almost surprised at how well you were asking these questions. Like that vicar character who is like essentially the only holy man in this starting town. Like you can ask him some like just straight up things of like, didn't you just say like this town was a hellhole, and yet you're trying to raise it? And he's like, you're right. I shouldn't have said that. I see a lot of potential here, and it's just like no one here is going to realize that because of the situation they're in. It's like, oh, like I feel like I mined something out of this topic that games don't normally talk about. And that extends pretty far. Like I think some of the dialogue I've had with the multiple companions you can find, which I love that this game kind of has like a Mass Effect 1 companion system.
Yes.
It's very cool. It's not what I expected. But like the cool thing, that vicar character who ended up joining my crew, like I was like, don't you want to ask me anything? And he asked me like very personal questions that I could answer. I, as the player, could answer like these really long, thorough answers that were very intimate, which could go a couple of different ways, or like very curtly and very short. It's like, like the biggest thing that RPGs in video games never do, that like I think stuff like Divinity Original Sin 2, especially like had an understanding of, is like allowing the player to speak for themselves. Like I in that one like companion conversation, I felt like I got to share more of how I felt as a stranger in that world than I have in like any conversation as Shepard from Mass Effect. Like I felt like I had more agency in those dialogue options than anything else. And maybe it's just because of like who I am and how those dialogue options resonated with me, and maybe they wouldn't connect with other people. But I was really surprised. Like of the things that I was expecting to be interested in this game, the companion system was not one of them, because I think it's been so poorly implemented in all Fallout games.
Alex, all I'm going to say is when Pavarti's in your quest, Pavarti, there's going to be a quest called Drinking Sapphire Wine. I want you to play that quest and to get like message me your thoughts.
Pavarti is like a huge standout. Especially she's
great.
She's great, and she's the first companion you meet. And like the moment that you meet her, it's like, like you seem like an interesting person. Like I just want to get to know you. Like you immediately stand out because of like how you're talking, what you look like, how you talk to me. It's just like I'm so taken aback at like how much more these characters are like Mass Effect characters than they are like Fallout characters. Which is great. That's like a very high compliment. I like, honestly, it's making me think about like how you would receive it, Namashin. Not that I would put another game in front of you to play, but like it really like genuinely surprised me in a very good way. But yeah, the dialogue just stands out to me. I've played about 3 hours of it. I got into the ship and then off the kind of starter area. Okay. So I have the kind of galaxy map open to me now, or solar system map or whatever. So I'm still, I would say, pretty early on. I just wanted to get off that first planet last night when I was playing. Played about 3 hours of it. I'm really surprised at how much it's grabbed me. Right, I really didn't think this would get anything out of me. But maybe like having that low expectation helps. But the companions, the conversations that I've had, like just the dialogue alone and the kind of things that you're allowed to say in that game have really, really surprised me. It's not like any other thing I've played, at least not recently.
Yeah. I think that's one of the big strengths is it's written so well. And that's something that like I think Obsidian has that pedigree to do. They know how to write well, and it shows in those options and even in the side conversations that you can have. Even some of the quest writing is great.
Yeah, I haven't done a lot of it. It's certainly been a lot of like, hey, go here and get this. So a lot of people have been talking. I don't know. Like, we'll see how the quest structure, if that gets better as it goes along. A lot of people have been talking about the kind of first big choice.
Yes, I want to get your thoughts on that, Alex.
Yeah, and I think that's worth talking about here. It's early on, but if you don't want to know it, like I would skip ahead to the next timestamp if you're listening to the podcast, and just mute it for a couple minutes if you're watching us live. But essentially, like the setup for this choice is in this opening area. You meet the kind of main town. I forget what it's called.
Emerald Vale.
Emerald. Is it Edgewater? That's the town, right?
Yes, but the region's called Emerald Vale.
Yeah. So Edgewater essentially is like one of what I assume to be many towns like totally owned by this corporation. And everyone there is like employed by the corporation. Everyone there has a job. Everyone works 24/7, right? Like they sleep, they wake up, they work until they can't, and then they sleep. And then they work more. And tell me, I've heard that one before. Trust me. But people have left, and they're like, fuck this corporation, and fuck working forever. That sounds awful. They left. They started their own kind of like sub-settlement, and they've been siphoning power from the main settlement for a while now. You come into town, you're asked by the kind of town leader to go in and turn off the power for these people, so that way they will have to come back. So the choice you were given is to essentially turn off the power for the deserters, or turn off the power for Edgewater, or just take the power circuit and fuck both of them. Which I don't know how that plays out. If that's like that, it seems like a very different option. So it is like you meet kind of like the two faction leaders, the deserter faction leader Adelaide, and the Edgewater. Like the leader of that town, Holston, or no, that's Pavardi's
Reed
last name.
Thompson, I believe.
Reed Thompson, yeah. And what I like about this choice, it is, I think, very, very much like a Fallout New Vegas choice. If you've ever played that game, it reminds me a lot of that. Hopefully, the big choices of the game get more interesting. But what I like is the kind of conversations that you can have around this choice. And again, it's one of those things where just like asking people about like how they feel about a thing is like way more interesting, because they are granting you way more interesting conversation options, right? Like the conversation you can have with Pavardi like right beforehand is really great, 'cause she's from like the main town. You meet Adelaide with her presumably, and then she'll like kind of interrupt you before you make the final call and says like, hey, I just want to say something, like this is how I feel about this. And I like that, like from her perspective, let's say we side with the deserters, right? Like Adelaide is like kind of full of vengeful spite about this, like this, her wanting to shut down Edgewater and force everybody to either leave or find a new home is not something that is coming from a place of like, this will be better in the long run and this will liberate them. It is more I worked there for a long time and fuck that place. And she brings that up of like, don't you think like doing this from a hateful place is not the right thing to do? And it's like, I never thought about that. Like I legitimately didn't think about that. And I like to think that I kind of look at those moral conundrums from all angles. And like Reed Thompson is like, at the end of the day, we are not going to survive if we are split up like this. If you turn off power there, they're not going to just die. They will come back. I know they will come back. And I believe that they will come back. And I know if they come back, we can work this out, right? Like this kind of like, we're under this corporate thumb together, but we can survive together. And you get that from him. Like I didn't necessarily take him as disingenuous, because you can kind of explore the moral aspect of it a little bit more. How did you feel about it, Quinn?
So I was caught off guard by this. I was not expecting to make this such a heavy decision. So because I'm me, I sided with the deserters.
Mm-hmm.
This idea of like people are getting fed up with being exploited. They call them out, and Reed's only. So what I saw with the Edgewater mayor, so to speak, is the dialogue the conversations I had with him was like, yeah, we're just going to bring these people back so everything can be back to normal, back to work, and it'll be fine. There was no diplomacy. And so I was like, these people don't want to be exploited, first of all. They're tired of it. and you only want them to come back to continue to be exploited. And sure, the deserters are vengeful and they're tired of it, but they're trying to do something different, and they're trying to break the mold. And I respect that. I respect the decision to break the mold, stray away from the norm, and try to do something. So, obviously, I sided with the deserters. Now, do I feel good about my choice? No, not really.
Yeah.
But I felt it was the right thing to do. Because I know in my heart of hearts that if they had the power or not, they would have just stayed out there, and then they would have. And I
Yeah.
can't justify that. These people in a town who have walls and can fish up some sort of energy because they already have technology lying around. In my head, it was justified. That
Yeah.
what I'm doing is the right thing. And and that was 5 hours ago. And I'm still thinking about it.
Yeah, it's cool. A lot of people talking about still thinking about it, and like I want to bring this up because like I've been watching a lot of Critical Role recently, so I know Tony will understand. Like,
Hell yeah.
one of the things that Mercer, who's a DM in that game, does so well is like he will make consequences out of things that you don't think like are going to be consequences, right? So like all those things that went through your head in that moment, Quinn, of like, this town has walls and like the factors that maybe the game doesn't directly address. It feels like those are part of the equation, right? The things that the player is essentially drawing their own eye to feel like they also factor in. Like, it feels like everything is important, even like that the game kind of thought of it all. Which is like, indicative of a good game master, I think. And I think that's indicative of like the quality of how much they're thinking about these choices in the Outer Worlds. So yeah, like I think there's a lot of validity in your reasoning there, like of how you justify it to yourself. And I think it really could go either way. And I don't begrudge anyone either way. And it's cool because like I sided with the deserters as well. And
My man.
Pavardi like essentially doesn't want you to. But when I talked to her afterwards, she's like, we talked about it and I understand where you're coming from. And it was like, oh, okay. Like I feel better having like talked to you beforehand, but like I feel even better having talked to you afterwards. And like even if we disagreed on what I wanted to do, we had a conversation about it, right? It doesn't feel like something is left hanging, but it feels like something could be if you avoided that conversation. And that's cool.
But no, it's like, and it's something that also stands out to me is after I made that decision, like 5 hours later, a character addressed me as, "Oh, you're the guy who fucked the Emerald Veil," and I was like, "Yo." Like I was like I forgot about that, and you're bringing it up and making me feel bad. This random NPC, and I think that goes to a testament of the writing. It's like, hey, your decisions actually have weight. People will remind you of the shit you have done. And I don't know if you noticed this, Alex, but in the loading screen, it says like, oh, the terror at the Emerald Vale at Edgewater, and shows like the town like in flames and the deserters have power. So like they pepper it in just slow. But no, the Outer Worlds. It's a video game.
It seems
that
like
I have
it
lots
could.
of thoughts on.
It seems like it could very well be a video game.
Yeah,
I'm excited to play more. I'm glad your impressions are still positive 5 hours after where I'm at. You said that you weren't a huge fan of the combat. I actually like how it feels more than I thought I would.
Okay.
It feels better than
feels...
most of games of this, like this.
Yes.
So,
like I think the shooting is bland, but that's because I'm coming off playing Destiny 2.
Yeah, one of the best shooters.
Yeah, ever. So it's like, and plus I'm doing a melee build, which feels more fun than actually shooting a gun. So
I'm doing a little bit of both. But I'm mostly, I think I'm specking toward gunslinger is what they called me.
Yeah.
So, I'm into it. I'm like, I really thought I would just kind of play a little bit of it and not ever come back to it, but like I'm like really excited to play it again. So
Yeah, it's got its hooks in me for sure. I mean, I'm playing it all the way for review, anyways, but it's like genuinely got its hooks in me. And it's one of those things like I can't stop thinking about.
Yeah. It's cool.
So,
have you been playing any other video games, Quinn?
Destiny 2 that
Cool.
I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm.
That's a video game. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too.
I booted up Crucible and I was like, I like this more than I remember. I like this more than I thought.
They made it better recently, so
yeah, it's way more balanced now. And
if you know what's broken, it doesn't feel balanced, but it's better. Yeah. I would say if you don't know what's broken, it feels generally better.
But no, it's because that was my main draw of the Destiny 1 was I basically did the heroic missions and I did Crucible. That was
got to do your dailies, man.
It's nice hopping back into Destiny and like having the Crucible feel nice, even though I love PvE because I can just put in a podcast or listen to music and just like zone out and play Destiny. Going back to Crucible, it's nice. I forgot.
You can still do that with PvP.
Yeah.
Throw on some like heavy metal, put on those headphones,
No.
and just go to town on some fucking scrubs.
Frankie Valley, baby. Let's be.
Oh, excuse me. Do you have any like nuanced thoughts and feelings about Destiny 2, or is you just having a good time?
I like Shadow. Okay, I'm gonna say this now and be done with it.
Okay.
Shadowkeep is a walk down memory lane. And I love that Bungie's just going all in on their bullshit. I'm here for it.
Okay. Some people are, some people aren't.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. You also apparently been playing Dishonored 2. I don't know.
Against my better judgment.
Are you just generally back on your bullshit?
Yes. I have a save that I haven't played in a year. And it's like, oh, I'm going to boot this up. And I was like, oh, yeah.
What a terrible idea when you're like, I'm going to review The Outer Worlds. Let me play Dishonored 2 real quick. This one,
yeah.
I won't mix these wires at all, I'm sure.
No, I was playing that before I got the code.
Did I review Dishonored 2, Quinn?
I don't know. Let's check let me go on the back end.
I feel like I might have. I'm just thinking about it. I'm like, what would I give that game? Probably 9.
I'd give that game a 10.
I know. I wouldn't. But
because arcane video games are my jam.
Would you say which is better, Prey 2 or Prey or Dishonored 2?
Depends on mechanically. I think Dishonored 2 is better. From the perspective of world building.
Whoa.
And
it's weird that I heard that.
What?
Oh, your microphone changed.
Yeah, you're having some issues.
It sounded like a different person talking. Thankfully, I'm recording all the audio this week, so it won't matter. Quinn's having a situation where he's got to kind of finagle the mixer at like a 87-degree angle. And then it's like you with your microphone cord, Tony. It's like you got to sit on it just right. And you have to connect the gold pins with your hands.
I gotta warm it up with my butt cheek.
Yeah. the
core still not good.
Still not good. You should be able to see it listed. Oh, yeah, we lost audio altogether.
Rip Quinn.
Rip Quinn.
Rip Outer Worlds.
All right, I reviewed the Knife of Dunwall DLC, which I don't
for Dishonored 1.
For Dishonored 1, which is a 2-part DLC. I reviewed the first of 2 parts. I gave it a 7.
I've never played it.
This story is like, I know why I gave it a 7. It's because like it's very much like they set it up as like here's the whole story, but it was like part 1 of 2 DLCs that they I don't think they'd announced the second part yet. But the mechanics are very good in the Knife of Dunwall. I can't believe you've never played that. You absolutely should play those 2 DLCs.
Fun fact: I tried replaying Dishonored 1. I was like, "Holy shit, this game's rough."
Really? I don't think so.
Mechanically speaking, from the second one,
Yeah, I mean, second one's better. It's just
because there's so much more nuance in the second one,
yeah. Sure.
and it's much easier to play non-lethal in the.
Yes, that's true for sure.
But no, I decided to load up a save that I haven't touched in 2 months, like a year.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh yeah, I need that hit, baby. Give it to me.
Excellent.
And I was like, I just finished the clock. My last save was I finished the clock tower mission. And so it's the observatory. And let me tell you, I spent 2.5 hours on that.
I want you to know that we talked a lot about Dishonored 2 on a recent episode of Leaderboard, and Blessing Adeoye Jr. is a huge Dishonored 2 stan as well. So
Him and Van Aken.
yeah, I don't remember Alex talking about it a lot, but we definitely
Don't call him out like that.
listen, man. I'm just saying Alex didn't make a positive stance well known. So if you're listening, Van Aken, you know what's up. But we did talk about how if we had like a best designed levels, I told them about my like theoretical game of the year category idea. If we had a best designed levels one, like Dishonored 2 would like win 2 of those slots.
Yeah. And you know what's funny is I don't even think I don't like the Clockwork Mansion.
Yeah, I don't. The Clockwork Mansion is not my favorite of the levels of Dishonored 2. It's the time travel one for sure.
It's the time travel, and it's the one where you have to go to the Duke's Mansion.
Yeah, Duke's Mansion is also very good, just because it's like a big villa. On
yeah,
an
and
island.
it's so many layers.
Yeah.
Anyways,
so many different.
Dishonored 2.
It's like one of the greats contender in my opinion.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, play it if you haven't.
It's like Nobishin put his Game of the Generations list up, and I was like, Dishonored 2 is on that. It needs...
Called out right here, right now, Nabishin. What are you gonna say? Put Dishonored 2 on the list. We're playing it together.
That's literally all it was. It's all games I played.
I know. Do you think you would like that game, Nabishin?
I don't know. I never played it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Hey, guess what? When Andrew, fun story. I own a physical and digital version. That's how much I. I'm gonna message Andrew Taylor, see what his progress, because I gave him my copy, and when he's done with it, I'm gonna send it to you now.
He's been shipping this copy of Dishonored 2 around the country like 4 times.
Hey, guess what? Jarrett has my copy of Control. Then George will have it.
Yeah, so they got to knock it off the list before Game of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
Is that all you've been playing, Quinn?
Yeah, that's about it. I haven't, like I said, this has been a mad week for me. Just weird stuff going on. So,
hey, at least you got the Outer Worlds. It's clicking.
Yeah, man.
I imagine. Did you have Thursday off?
Yes.
I imagine that.
I spent like
very
5 hours with it. Oh yeah.
Just like you wake up in the morning, get your cup of coffee ready, check your email. Like, all right, let's settle in.
I woke up at 6, got the email at 7. I was like,
ooh.
Yep.
You're like, and those West Coast PR people that are on top of it.
Yep. And I was like, I'm gonna start this download now. Get my day going. Get my laundry going. Come back. It'll be ready. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Cool. It was good conversation, Quinn. I'm excited to hear your full thoughts unfold. And if people out there are like, oh, well, hearing these two talk, I want to know more of what Quinn feels about Dishonored or immersive sims. You have a feature went up this week about how Dishonored made you love immersive sim, introduced you to the genre. It's stellar. You should read it.
Thank you.
And it's on irrationalpassions.com, which is a video game website.
And you can listen to the audio version on IP Presents.
Hell yeah. Subscribe.
Yes.
Brian Nobishin Jackson, video games. Where are you at with video games? I'm not gonna ask what you've been playing. I'm just gonna ask what you've been up to with video games, Nobishin. Did you make any great tiered list this week?
Just dumb stuff. Like, if we're really gonna talk about this dumb tier list thing that I do,
please. It's been so funny to
Yeah,
watch you just. I feel like you've been like having a breakdown on Twitter.
Yeah, I kind of am. Like with my best friend Tony, we've just been ranking like all the Marvel characters, just like all of them from the MCU, just for fun. But there's like over 100 characters, so anytime we hang out, we just do like maybe like 20 together, and then like we just stop after.
I want to know. I'm going to ask you a question in regards to this. Where is Thanos on the list?
Oh, we haven't gotten to him yet.
Okay. Where do you think he's going to end up?
Probably number one. Tony's a really big fan of Thanos.
Okay. What about you?
I liked Thanos a lot in Infinity War, not so much in Endgame.
Okay. Any other ranked lists? Any other Marvel related ranked lists?
Not Marvel,
Do you have a list of the best PlayStation consoles yet?
No, because like it's obvious for me, like that would probably be the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
So like
My fucking man.
But like yeah, like nothing like that. Like I did Danganronpa characters just for the shit of it, and that it made me laugh just because of like dumb shit. It's like, oh, I want to put Mamadon like at a good.
I loved it, dude. I went through that. That was like the one I read through like each individual one, thinking about like your thought process on all of them, and Mamadon being so high, and all the other ones being the last bottom tier made me laugh so hard. And I know Justin Graffius summer was just pissed. He's like, he doesn't deserve this slot.
I don't even know Justin's all, but like yeah, that made me laugh. But I don't know. Maybe I think I'm not really off the fat now, but like I'm feeling good again. I say this all the time, but like I feel like I'm good to like actually play something again. Like I've been thinking about Death Stranding. Like it's finally really kind of clicked with me as far as like the excitement with that. But like I feel like it's still at the point where it's like I could just like play and just like almost immediately drop it like I always do, like a bunch of these games. But like not because I think it's bad or anything like that, but it's like it's something I just like. Oh, I really like it, but I'm just not
in the mood.
Yeah, exactly.
I get it.
But yeah, like I've been thinking about Death Stranding lately, just because like I don't really know anything about it.
Yeah, have you been watching the trailers?
Just like the main ones, but like I don't really still know how the game plays.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of the demos or anything. So
like I don't know if you even hold a gun in that game. Like I don't even know that's even what the systems are about. Like I know you can throw a briefcase at people, but that's about it.
Yeah.
So like I don't know the quote unquote action for that game is, and if it even is that, like it will definitely be The Last Guardian and Red Dead Redemption of this year, and I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of just how much it clicks with me with it.
Dude, that it's like so. We should update the people on this because it could not have played out better. Nabishin, our fantasy critic league, and it's so
right.
It's so
you
funny.
See the update?
I saw your update. I see them all. Don't worry. I try and respond, but I'm usually at work when I see them. That's why I don't.
Gotcha.
But so our fantasy critic, for folks who are uninitiated, fantasycritic.game, you can essentially draft a group of games into your quote-unquote fantasy league, and it's games that you think will review well, essentially above an 80. Or above is it above 70?
Above 70, yes.
Okay. Which would be mixed to generally positive reviews would be a 70. And it's pulling those from opencritic.com. So Nabish and I did this. We did our draft at the beginning of the year. We have two teams, Alex Interactive Entertainment versus Nabisoft. It's literally come down to the last two games. It's anyone's game.
Mm-hmm.
You have the point lead right now, right?
By like 2 points.
And it's because I had Breakpoint, right? And that fucked me.
Breakpoint fucked you hard.
So pissed, dude.
Alex, why did you choose that game?
The first game reviewed fine, and I thought this one was. I genuinely thought this was going to be better because it's a sequel. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Ubisoft already apologized for it. All right, I don't need to. Shout out to them. Great, honest, open letter that they put out there.
Alex, all I'm going to say is you should have known from the Ubisoft E3 conference.
Well, here's the thing. I drafted it before then,
Oh,
So like I really thought it was going to be fine, and I thought Zelda was going to be above 90, and it was like 87 or something. First world problems. But so the Nobishin's last game is Death Stranding. Mine is Pokemon Sword and Shield. And those could both go either way as far as I'm concerned. Because Sword and Shield could be like more of the same 8.0 and then like I don't win. And Death Stranding could just be bad, right? It could be.
Right.
Although according to Blessing Adeoye Jr., there's no way this game could be bad. Direct quote. And
He kind of backpedaled on that on live
he
stream,
did.
but, like,
I know. Yes, Blessing and I are both like on the same page with that game though, and he's one of few people that are. So I'm gonna keep him close. So yeah, I love that it's really what are the point totals right now?
I think I'm 130 and you're 129.
Yeah, it's so close. It's so funny how this played out. But
I do have a question.
Yeah.
Who has the Star Wars?
Neither of us do, right?
Nope.
Yeah. It's a bummer. It would have been a good one. I should have drafted that one instead of fucking Ghost Recon. God damn it. But yeah, it's been super fun. We're already you and I have already essentially made plans to do 1,000 more of these next year. Definitely want to get Tony and Scott involved and do an IPP1.
Yeah, it sounds fun.
Yeah, it is fun. I think since our Game of the Year podcast is going to be probably either non-existent or not the same, it might be fun to just do that as one of them. And that could be a lot of fun.
It.
Yeah. But yeah, it's been, if you can follow at Nobishin186 on Twitter, you tweet an update every month, I think.
Yes, it's normally every month. Yes,
and,
he's got a big old thread about it.
Yeah, he's got the whole thread throughout the year. If you want to kind of see where we were, it's just it's been so much fun. I didn't expect it to like play out the way it did, but it couldn't have gone better. So yeah, Death Stranding is like, it's certainly going to be the Red Dead of this year at the very least. Of like, some people are going to love this game, some people are going to hate this game, people are going to disagree about this game. So we'll see. Where do you think, like, just like you genuinely as a fan of Kojima Nobishin, where do you think that game will fall Metacritic wise?
Metacritic
or Open Critic, like critically wise,
like overall.
Yeah,
for like the consistency of gaming, I guess you would say.
Yeah, like what's the consensus of the video game critical sphere?
Kind of like what I said earlier, as far as like with the Game Awards stuff. Like, there's no doubt in my mind, I think it's going to be nominated for Game of the Year. As far as like something like that, because like it's new, it's sexy, it's different.
It's weird.
Yeah,
Norman Reedus, yep.
And it stands out compared to like most of the games of this year. Like you can have a celebrity in your game like Ghost Recon Breakpoint did, but like, like it's not like the way Kojima is doing it. Like this is insane the way he's doing it as far as his game. That being said, though, like like I said, like I think like critically it's gonna be there, but like I just don't think. Oh my god, sorry, I'm watching something. I think it's gonna be there, but like I just think like it's gonna be like one of those things where it's like like an Uncharted 3 type of thing where it's like it's on the Game of the Year list, but like no one's really gonna pick it type of thing. I don't know, like it's there because it's supposed to be there, but like it's not. At the same time, you don't think it's actually gonna like be the thing.
Yeah. What do you think?
Like, if you're gonna ask me what the thing is for this year, I couldn't tell you that either. But like, it's just a weird year.
It's a weird year. Here's like, because you came into the chat. Andrew, Taylor, and I were streaming Resident Evil last night. We talked a little bit. You came in the chat and we talked a bit. I said it there. I'll say it here. Like I believe it because I don't think this year is at all like 2014. I don't think last year is all like 2014. Like that is like the most off a year has ever felt. I think because there's just been so much great stuff this year. I feel like everything is just great this year. There's
Hey.
very little outright bad video games this year.
Like it's super interesting, dude. Like, 'cause, like it's nothing but quality stuff, but it's like
It's harder to stand out if everything's good, though.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like I remember saying like a few years ago, like because I heard it on the podcast, I was like no one makes bad games anymore, and it's like it's kind of true. It's like it feels like if Anthem was like in a place where like bad games, quote unquote, still existed, like it could still be viable, I guess you could say. Like it could still be bad, but like there would still be a fan base around it, more, at least more of one, I should say. But like it has so much competition. You have Destiny, you have Destiny 2, you have like
The Division
all these other
2.
live,
Yeah.
you have all these like live service games that like why even spend a minute like in that game where I could play Fortnite and just get enough from that, or Apex Legends or anything else. Why even waste my time with something like that? It's just like people's time now more than ever like is so valuable now. So like it has to be something that like either like leaves like a big impact, like like something like what Final Fantasy VII is trying to do, like for that moment, or just like something that will last you the entire year. I don't know. It's weird. Like an Apex Legends. I don't know.
Yeah, it is weird, but like it has pushed people and companies and developers and creators to do like some wild shit. Like Fortnite Chapter 2 or Apex Legends Season 3 or like everything that Destiny's doing, or like these living games are all trying to evolve to kind of go with the times, and it makes stuff like Borderlands 3 stand out like so much more, I think. It's weird. It's a weird time. We've finally gotten to the point where everyone's making good games, and games are less generally broken than they have been over the last 4 years. And
we as like I guess you could say a gaming populace have gotten to the point too where it's like delays are okay. I feel like overall now, like we're at the point now, like after Anthem and after like Fallout 76, that like people are generally okay with delays. They just don't want games to be announced too early now. That's all.
Yeah. People love games being announced and then coming out 6 months later. I would say that's the general sentiment. But it's one of those things where it's like, why doesn't Rocksteady just announce their game? It's like because they're trying to announce it like when it's going to be like right around the corner, right? Like they just want to tell you about it right when you can almost have it. Like it's just the we have to kind of start shifting our mindset as a whole of like, I haven't heard from that person in a while. Must be some trouble. It's like, no, they're just waiting for the right moment, right? And that's good. I think that's a positive change, but we'll see. Have you played any video games this week? No.
I got Medieval.
Nice, dude. My roommate and I also got Medieval.
Yeah, that game is like legitimately good for someone who never played it. I feel like it's actually really impressive, and I feel like it's a game that like if I played it on the original PlayStation, it would have been like a 9, but like right now it's a 7, which is fine. Just because like it's not really that much to it, but like I think for what it does and for what it is, it's super impressive for someone who's never played it before.
Yeah, I was hanging out with Mike while he was streaming that last night, and I've played a little bit of it, and I played the first level in the demo. So like I've played a lot of the original game, but I haven't played a lot of this remake. He pointed out too, like this seems like maybe too much for like a game that not a lot of people I feel know about. But that's kind of rad. Like I feel like they gave this game the full service. They certainly did not half-ass on this. The music is great, the graphics are great, the effects are great, and like the way they changed the camera angle is great. But yeah, a lot of people have been asking me like, hey, should I play this? Like, I know you like this. And it's one of the things of like, still an old game, right? Like if you've never played it before, it feels like an old game. But I think it's really charming. And I think the presentation and like the music and sound alone are worth it, especially if like you're in for something for the season. I think it fits perfectly, but it's an old game. It's a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah, it's like it's one of those things where like I saw a tweet from Shuhei like just sitting out, like just someone just giving him like so much love. Like, thank you. Like this game made me who I am, type of thing. And it's like, oh yeah, this is like a game that like someone not my age range, someone in your age range, it was like this is probably one of their first games, and like why they fell in love with video games and why they think more of video games is because of this game. And it's like they're playing it again. And it's like, you know, I just think that's super rad for like anyone who's like love like old PlayStation 1 games. Like I skipped that entire generation more or less, but like you know, just to have that again, it's like that's just super rad, I feel.
Yeah, that game is exactly that for my roommate Damien. So like this has been weirdly a thing he's been super excited about and has been asking me about since the moment they announced it. Of like, have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? Have you heard anything? I'm like, I haven't heard anything yet. I'll tell you. And I told him as soon as the release date came out, he was like, yeah. And yeah, he went to GameStop like day one. Like, I love this. I played the first 2 hours of it. And it's like such a blast from the past, and I love what they did with it. It's like, you know, he plays like wrestling games. He's excited about Death Stranding, which his current wrestling game option is essentially nothing. And so like he's never really had a remake or a remaster of a game ever, like for a thing that he's played before. So it's been really fun to see him like, oh, I like how they changed this. I like how they updated this. Like I remember this, but it's different, but it's the same. And I had that with like Crash and Spyro and many other games. So it was cool to see him react to that.
Yeah, PlayStation's got their generation. Like the standout remaster has done a lot lately, so that's pretty cool.
I really hope they do the second Medieval. I like the second one a lot more, and it would be really rad if they did. I know it's asking for too much already. It's like I think of like my Sly Cooper dreams of like I asked and asked and asked, and they gave me Sly 4. I can't ask for 5. I'm sorry, I asked for enough. Getting that fourth game was already a magical moment for me. So, I'm just happy that they remade this game, and a lot of people are going to be able to play it for the first time.
So we're at the point now where like N64 will be next, right? As far as like something that's like get remasters or something like that. I would say we're at that point now. Like you could say like Ocarina on 3DS did that, which is a great port, by the way. I love that port.
Yeah, sure.
But like
a
real
remake of Ocarina
but like
of Time.
what game though?
Castlevania 64, dude. Duh. I'm just
Doom
kidding.
64. Come on.
Doom 64 it's already happening. So that comes out November 26th, right? So
Something like that.
Wait, Doom 64? No, it's coming out the same day as Doom's.
Oh, they pushed it.
Oh yeah.
Yep, it's a pre-order incentive now.
Oh, nice, great. Bethesda winning all check marks right now. That game will be great. So whatever. I would say like Mario 64 would be that game, right? Like, I don't know if they.
I don't know though.
Well, here's the thing. What they would do is they'd make the 64 pack, and if it had 64 in the name, they'd remaster it and put it in the pack.
That'd be a good pack. I'm trying to think of other like Super Mario 64, Mario Kart 64.
You got Donkey Kong 64 and Star
64.
Fox
Hell
64.
Yeah, dude, you're right. The quartet that you could only ever ask for.
I don't need anything else but that.
Yeah, that's honestly, Scott, I would fucking pay 60 United States dollars for that right now.
I don't think there's any way Mario 64 in particular can get remastered.
Yeah, I don't know if they would ever do it. I feel like it's too sacred.
Yeah, it's such a weird case with that game in particular.
They did
like
the DS thing.
I would believe like a Super Mario World remaster before I think of something like N64, because like that game is so particular with that system. It's so ingrained with that system.
I would love to see it though, man.
It's kind of like it's almost like in a weird way like Skyward Sword with the Wii. Like it's so ingrained with that system that like I don't know if you could take it out. Like I know there's ports obviously, but I'm saying like what made the system, what makes that game is because it's on the N64 and the way it looks in the N64. Everything about that game is just the N64 period. So like, I don't know if you can like actually do another one of that. I don't know.
I got 2 words for you now, Bashin. I brought this up 2 weeks ago. Paper Mario. Remake that game. Just make it not blurry anymore. And it's great. That's a 10 out of 10 right there. Just put HD graphics on it. Easy.
Yeah, and just put 64 at the end of it and drop it in the 64 pack.
Paper Mario 64. Yep. Drop it in the 64 pack. Slap those HD textures on there. It's a 10 out of 10. It's easy. Easy money.
I would say Superstar Saga, Mario and Luigi. Remaster of that.
They did.
They already
on
did.
3DS.
On 3DS.
Yeah, but no one's gonna fucking play it on a 3DS.
Yeah, well, you don't get to choose where they put it, dude. They did it already. Some could say
Yeah,
like
they put
the extra Mario Odyssey level is the remake, the only ever remaster of Super Mario 64 we will ever get.
64, yeah.
And it's great, but you know.
Yeah, I want them to.
I would love them to, just because like I don't like Super Mario 64, mostly because of like the control scheme of that game on the platform that it was made for. Like I think it doesn't play well, like I always have to some extent. And boy, like just like a modern, like a Mario 64 that feels like Mario Odyssey would be like incredible.
Yeah.
So, but it'll never. I don't think it'll ever happen. Honestly,
No.
What's the N64 game they remake? Like, Ocarina of Time would be the most interesting if they like took a new crack at it. If they were like, we're gonna remake Ocarina of Time, we're gonna change some stuff
With the Unreal Engine.
with the Unreal Engine. Link's gritty as fuck in this Ocarina of Time remake.
Please.
Yeah, I don't know. Adult Link, finally adult. How about this? Let's take a break. When we come back, we can figure out what Tony and Scott have been playing. I have a feeling there are factories in my future.
There's factories in your future.
I'm very excited to hear about them, and we will hear about them in just a little bit.
Yeah, I haven't either.
We'll see. Hey everybody, welcome back. Let's talk about some more video games. Scotty G, what you got? What you been playing, my friend?
Oh, well, we got to.
Okay.
We got the usual shit.
Okay. Is
I
that
don't
one
know
of
what
them,
that
like
is.
all encompassing one?
No. Well, no. It's just one this time,
Okay.
which is just still playing some WoW.
Okay.
Been a bit less frequent because busy week.
Mm-hmm.
But and then Satisfactory.
Yes, we've got you on the Satisfactory train. Specifically, Tony does.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're good.
How do you feel about Satisfactory?
Game's good.
It's a good game.
Yeah.
Jarrett responded, Tony. He said, "What about? Do I need to go into the chat and scold him?"
Nope.
Continue, Scott. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to derail.
All right. So, what I enjoy about Satisfactory specifically is, if you couldn't tell, if you haven't seen any of our other stuff, this is the best comparison to pitch it to our other Discord people. Is it's a lot like a modded Minecraft pack
Okay.
in terms of what the mod pack brings to the table, without the underlying baggage that you essentially have to force onto your pack because you're playing Minecraft.
Okay. I like that.
So instead of people using Minecraft to essentially make a completely differently focused game through a pack, they instead just made a new one with a similar feel in terms of how those packs would kind of feel. But they took out most of the work that we're too used to doing to get back into it.
Okay.
Check out the dumb shit.
Yeah, that's good. Because it feels like it kind of scratches a similar itch of like building a thing that you're really happy with. Now,
I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'll get into it later.
Well, I was gonna lead into what I was gonna ask next. Like last week, you hadn't spent a lot of time with it, Tony. I'm just curious, like, and this is open to both of you. Like, is you showed us a little bit before we started the show, and like, I'm still unclear if there's like a goal, like.
Sure. So it's a sandbox game, right? Which means that you set your own goals to a certain extent. But I mean, the idea is, and the way that the tech tree is set up, your goal is really to finish the tech tree. As far as I know, we haven't finished it yet. But the idea is that you're essentially, every time you finish an upgrade, getting an upgrade, these upgrades come in tiers, which you need to unlock the next tier of upgrades in order to get better tech. And the tech is all based on more efficiently making stuff, because the resources you get in the game come from nodes that you need to mine from with a miner. And at the very base level, your maximum amount of stuff you can get out of a node is based on what tier of miner you have access to. So at the very simplest level, you're trying to get technology so that you can harvest more materials and process and move them faster, so that you can make more stuff more efficiently and quicker. So you take that, and then you basically every upgrade that you're working towards requires a certain bulk sum of materials that are typically processed materials, and those increase in complexity as you go up the tiers. So you're constantly making factories that build off your old factories, rebuilding old factories with newer tech to be more efficient. And say for example, what we're working towards now is all of our upgrades require a ton of motors and computers. So we're building factories that can make the base components out of the raw resources, and then take those components and turn them into the actual stuff that we need. And a lot of those components that you need to make these things, like motors and computers and stuff, come from components that are of lesser tech. So you need to take the stuff that used to be the end goal and use it towards a new goal, to unlock more technology.
So, like, is there a baseline currency that you're using to get materials or this or that, or are you just scavenging literally everything?
Well, I mean, so, like, say, for example, like the basic building block of a factory, which is a foundation, right? That's made specifically of just concrete, which you need to produce from a limestone node. But the maximum amount of concrete you can make is based on what miner speed you have and what production speed you have. If you are using more than you can create, you need to solve that issue. I think you need to not think about this game with the idea of I need to get to an end goal in order to be satisfied with it. Because it really is like I said, it's a sandbox game where a lot of the time that's just kind of guiding you towards more technology, but what you actually do is really just up to you.
Okay, I mean, because it's just like I'm thinking
there's,
of like
there's no end boss.
Yeah, of course, but I'm thinking more like in a Stardew type way of like, do I have to buy seeds to like then start the kind of everything trickling out from there? Or
it's not relevant in the game after the first like 5. But in order to create your first portable miner, you need to manually hit the node with a tool, and then use the stuff you get from that iron node to create a miner that will mine for you. But the first miner you make is just a little robot that mines, and as soon as it gets 100 of the material, it stops mining. So once you get a couple things of technology with that, crafting stuff on your crafting bench, you unlock an automatic miner that will output onto a conveyor belt.
Okay.
So you use that, and then you can automate production of that iron into iron ingots, and then take those iron ingots and turn them into iron bars and iron plates and what have you. So,
but like what I like is going off of like the stuff you've shown us, Tony, and like what you guys have talked about, is that there kind of isn't and maybe it's like something that if this as an early access game goes into a full video game needs, maybe it's something it will need eventually, but there's kind of like no meta. It is just the raw like numbers going up experience, I guess you could say. Like you make the miner gets better and like just immediately starts outputting materials that you were then processing like kind of immediately, and then from there you were just going to the next material, to the next tier, to the next thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like that. Yeah.
Like climbing the ladder, which is cool. Like I the 2 times I've asked you about this game is like, what, do you sell stuff? And you're like, no. It's like, oh, okay. Like you're not like accumulating money and becoming a multi-billionaire. You're just making factories.
No,
right?
like the premise, the story premise of the game, which the game really has, but the story premise of the game is that you were hired by a company called Fixit that they send pioneers to new uncharted planets that have raw like materials and expect you to create factories and then ship back products to them. And unlocking these tiers is shipping back these products that they need. So to unlock a tier, we might need 200 motors, 75 computers, and 75 advanced whatever. But and when you finish that, you're sending it away to their home base, and then they unlock more technology for you. So you're like an employee for this mega corporation that is galaxy spanning.
Okay, I like that. It's just like there's something intrinsic, like just valuable in that. Like I think a lot of games are about bullshit, and this game seems like it's only about the bullshit, and that kind of makes it not bullshit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really like the game is really about just building more with more and more efficient to create things, and then kind of spider webs off into making even more different things and blah blah blah.
Cool. And so Scott, you've joined up into Tony's game, where you guys started a new game.
Yeah, we're like 25 hours in or something.
Nice.
Is
it the 2 of you? Is there somebody
21
else?
21 hours. There's 3 of us playing.
Cool. I imagine you feel like you can get so much shit done if you've got 3 people going.
It's weird. Like you feel like you get shit done, but there's so much busy work involved in doing a single. And at least in this game so far, we haven't necessarily the way that we are making things. It's like I'm gonna make a thing, right? So I'm gonna take a node of resource and perform every step that is required to create end product. And I think that's fine the way that we were doing it, but I've started to think about it a little bit differently, where I'm kind of thinking about materials as they're one step above their base component of like, I need X amount of iron ingots and copper ingots and whatever to make an end product. So I'm, at this point, like, how am I going to take all these nodes and the things that we're already making, which are one-to-one with the end product, and siphon off materials that are needed to create other things? Which is because we, eventually we'll run out of raw resource nodes, or it will get too cumbersome to run out into the world and find a new resource node and conveyor it all the way back to our base.
Yeah, I get you.
So it's like, we're kind of in a weird transition period where it was more efficient before to just make a purpose-built machine. But now we kind of are on the scale where we want, we want big incoming sources of all base materials with which to pull certain amounts from that make a thing. So
okay. Interesting.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that you're thinking on a different scale because you have to, though.
Right, exactly. We've gotten to a point where it is required that we think on a different scale.
Cool. Anything else you've been playing, Scott? Unless you had any other things you want to add to Satisfactory.
Not particularly.
Okay.
He did a really good job covering it, and no, been pretty busy this week, so this is all I've been doing.
I'm glad you got into it, though. Do you guys think I would like this game?
I don't know.
If you played it with us.
Yeah, for sure. But I'd have fun if I played anything with you. We watched a League of Legends match together, and
that was great.
That was legitimately a great time. Maybe we should do that more often. Which is that's a weird, scary thought, and I'm gonna.
I mean, Worlds is happening.
Yeah, it's true.
The quarterfinals were today, and then there's another set of quarterfinals tomorrow. The other half of the bracket.
What time tomorrow?
8 a.m.
Fuck. All right. Fuck that.
But they're the good games, like the good teams. Like, there were weird upsets and shit that happened today. Like, both of the teams that were supposed to win didn't win. So, my Worlds pick'ems, which is basically fantasy Worlds, you pick the result before it happens, are all wrong now.
Excellent.
The entire top of the bracket just went completely against my predictions.
That's cool, though. Is there a good one that I should watch?
Good game. I don't know. I haven't watched them myself yet. I was planning to do that this evening, and then I remembered we had a podcast.
We have to podcast.
Yeah, because 8 a.m. I was asleep and then went to work.
Yeah, you're right. Me too. Tony Horvath, what about you? Video games.
Yeah, so it's been Satisfactory and trusty old League of Legends.
Good old League.
And a little bit of Clash, a little bit of
Clash, a little bit of Clans.
A little column A, a little column B.
Yeah.
And I've been thinking a lot about Dungeons and Dragons this week.
Me too, dude.
Because I listened to upwards of 4 episodes, up to 4 episodes of Critical Role every day while I'm at work, just because it's constantly playing, and 9 hours divided by 2 to 3 hour episodes.
Yeah.
Just you get up there without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
And not that I've been listening to a lot of that and just having thoughts, because Alex, we've had discussions,
we've had conversations,
and so I've been kind of thinking about a lot of stuff, and I have certain plans.
Ooh.
That keep getting more and more complex, and this idea gets more and more fleshed out. And I'm very excited about it.
Excellent. I'm excited about it too.
So we'll see what's going on with that at some point.
Yeah.
But
let's take a quick break. Kind of like Alex and Tony's little book club. Let's have Alex and Tony's little Critical Role chat.
Okay.
Because I've been watching a lot of Critical Role to the point where
Critical Role, dude.
Yeah, to the point where I had to be I gotta watch the content that I like to consume every week. I have to stop and watch these 3 podcasts I listen to every week. They're all an hour long, so it's not a huge diversion. But I don't have anyone else to talk to about this. So here you are, Tony.
Yeah.
I think Matt Mercer is maybe the single most talented human being I've ever seen in my life.
Isn't it insane?
It's unbelievable.
The one you're listening to the campaign 1.
Mm-hmm, correct.
Are you like, okay? Do you know the character that he does? That is the guy that Percival bought black powder from. Does that ring a bell in your head?
I might have met him the first time.
Yeah, it's
the guy with lots of black powder.
Yeah, the crazy motherfucker with
Yes.
like one.
I met him for the first time. There was an applause break when he showed up the first time.
His voice is like the voices he does, Matt Mercer does, are so insane. They're so good.
They're great. And I'm not even talking about just like the vocal talent. I'm just talking about like,
oh yeah, and just him as
this motherfucker knows every rule and every feat and every like thing and every like the amount of times that he checks the book is like twice a session. And
oh yeah, see, I hear the audio, so I don't see that stuff.
Yeah, I'm watching it, right? But like when he's like listing off things, he's just doing it off the top of his fucking head, man. Like he just knows all this stuff. Like
yeah, it's crazy.
The one time where he was like unsure, which happened on the episode I'm listening to, episode 26, where he was unsure of like who was at the keep at the time. He like had to check one of his notes. It's the only time I think I've seen him in these first 26 episodes reference his notes, like outside of like I need to see the stats on this boss or whatever.
Right.
Like he just knows so much at any given moment. He feels he's so comfortable like setting skill checks and setting DCs on rolls. Like
yeah, he keeps like characters in his mind, and like, he's aware of like all previous interactions that all of the characters have had. Like, you know, one of the cast members can just pull out of their asshole, like, you know, some dude they talked to for them like 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Matt will instantly know like the person, their backstory, what they sound like. You know, it's just crazy.
It's insane.
It's awe-inspiring sometimes to watch that shit.
It truly is like as like someone who is like DMs like very little bit, but like loves doing it. Like just you are seeing a master at work, like truly like a master of their craft.
So good.
And it is awesome. And I just shout out to Critical Role because Tony finally got me to start watching it. So and listening to it. So I'm a big fan. And it's been making me think about Dungeons and Dragons as well. Like it's funny because they play like way more grounded rules than I think I would probably play. But like they make it interesting, they make it fun, and there has to be intent behind all their actions in that show of like a group playing D&D together. But Matt also being like incredibly talented as a DM, like keeps the story and the things moving at a clip, right? Things like very rarely fully pause unless it's like a very good moment where the characters all talk to each other.
How far in are you now? How many episodes?
I'm on episode 26. To give you a point of reference, I'm like
I just need to know the wait a minute. Okay, you can tell me where they are.
I'm in the Briar Woods.
Like they're on their way there.
I think they're about to be. They just had like the kind of like mock trial where Uriel was like, hey, like this wasn't cool.
Yeah, we'll there's some things there are things about it that we can discuss on the show, and then there's several things that I would like to point out off there.
Okay, cool.
Because they are, just because
they're cool, I imagine. So shout out to Matt Mercer. DMing is very difficult, and he makes it seem easy. I'll say this, like, just personal recommendation to you and to Scott, just because we've talked about Fallout in the past. Outer Worlds might be one worth checking out for both of you. I'll just put it on your radar, right? No pressure. It's on PC Game Pass, so if you're
$1.
Curious, well, I guess not for you guys if you've done Game Pass on PC before, or maybe again, I don't know. But $10 and you can try it out.
I've done Game Pass like several times.
Yeah, okay. I don't know if that $1 thing they let you do that again.
They let me do it the first time. I did it again, but who knows?
Okay. But yeah, it is easily accessible, and it might be something that clicks with both of you, because it feels like, again, Fallout without all the baggage of Fallout, and it's like also very polished and very clean, and it looks great. We didn't talk about that, but gorgeous. Looks absolutely gorgeous. I don't know if you're playing on a HDR display, Quinn, but the colors in that game are fucking stellar.
All I want from this game is a third-person mode and a fucking photo.
Yeah, of course, photo mode.
All I want.
Never not on the photo bandwagon.
When the control photo mode dropped, I was like, fuck, I don't have my me.
I have to clear a weekend for this. Jared, send me my copy back.
No, it's got to go to George first.
But yeah, shout out to Matt Mercer. Is that all you've been playing, Tony?
Yeah.
Cool. I had a couple other things I just want to throw out there. I still playing Dark Souls 3, which has been a lot of fun playing with Justin Graffius. We did the one boss. God, I just lost it. I had it and I lost it. The one that
the one boss.
The one that we like, Tony.
And which one?
The Abyss Watchers.
Yeah, that one's pretty good.
Which was great, and I was, again, Justin and I played Bloodborne, then Dark Souls 1, 2, and now we finally get to this in 3. It's like, this is clearly like an homage to Bloodborne and to Lady Maria and to like the design of that game. And he was really into it as well. And like, that was like, it has happened a couple of times, but that was like the boss fight finally for Justin and I, where like we were literally on our last legs, like in the moments of the last moments of the fight. We both used all of our healing items. He had a sliver. Justin had a sliver of health left. I throw myself in front of a hit and die so he can kill the boss. Like, it is like as tight and butt clenchingly close as it could get, and it was awesome. Like, it is that moment that you kind of wait through all of Souls games to get to, of like,
yeah, that's awesome.
That kind of clenching moment, and we like jumped up and yelled. Like, it was so exciting, and it like happened on one of my favorite fights. So it was cool that it worked out that way. But yeah, he really liked that fight. And now we're off to the next area, the crypts, which I'm excited to see. But yeah, Dark Souls 3 is still great. I want to talk a little bit about Destiny as well, just like a weekly check-in, right? Update on the raid. I guess we recorded last Sunday, so people know. We didn't do it. Tomorrow is the day. I believe. I think we will finally finish the raid tomorrow, which is great. We're probably just going to go right into the final boss because we're kind of pretty burnt by this raid, honestly. But yeah, the one thing I didn't mention last week, that because I was very tired. But I want to mention this week, like with that raid, like this last attempt, like was the most our team has been focused, right? Like in the 6.5 hour window that I was streaming, like it was easily the most attempts we've ever made in that amount of time, right? Like we kept like throwing ourselves against it. There was not a lot of rest between, and it was just the most focused and the most like in the zone I think we've ever been. And I just shout out to like literally a year and a half or a year plus of us doing raids together and learning and getting better as a team and better at coordinating, and the pairs that we split off into, of like this person will pick up for this person's slack and this person will pick up for this person's slack because we complement each other in a way. So just shout out to Ren, to Jake, to Mike, to Cameron, and to Jeff for always making the time Sunday to do those. It's a lot of time to dedicate to anything, and it's been great. And I'm still playing Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. The game's still perfect, so if you haven't played it, you should. If you don't own a GameCube, go buy one, I guess, because it's worth it. I think that's it for video games. You guys want to take a peek in the mail sack? You feeling it?
Sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready. I'm gonna be honest. I said that because like I didn't want to derail myself. I do have an update from Jarrett Green though.
Okay.
Essentially, we were shit talking Jarrett because we thought he was like a Skype stan. He's
Yeah.
not.
No, I was
Quinn was
trashing Jared on that.
shit talking Jarrett, to be specific, but Jarrett is apparently not a Skype stan.
Let's just be clear. Jarrett always deserves to be shit talked.
Yeah, but like only because he's gonna bring it right back. You know
The only
what I
time he doesn't deserve to be shit talked is when he is placing a Moscow Mule in my.
mean? It's the only time where Jarrett is living up to the name Jared Drinks Thins.
That's all I'm saying.
I feel like it's a real bad to shit talk the person who's putting the Moscow Mule in your hand.
That's what I'm saying.
Just
That's why at that point it's not a good idea.
But every other time it's a great idea.
Yeah, it's always a great idea, except for at that time.
Noted. Jared said he might have to come on next week to settle this.
He might have to.
He might have to.
We might let you.
Damn. I'm not going to stand for this Jared shit talk. Jared's one of the best of us.
I'm just writing a narrative.
Okay, I get it.
It's like a wrestling story.
Yeah, there's got to be hype. There's got to be a heel turn at some point, and this is it.
The pay-per-view is next week, all right?
All right. I'm into it. You can be a part of the show in a variety of ways. You can tweet your questions at @IrrationalPod, excuse me. Hashtag IPQ makes them easier for me to find. You can send us email, mailsack@irrationalpassions.com, voicemail, 404-590-1337. I'd also like to take a moment to just update you all in things that Evan Wall says to me on an irregular basis. Evan texted me this week and said, hey, is the mailsack line still this phone number? It was the wrong phone number. I corrected it. I'm like, no, it's this. Why do you ask? He's like, I'm applying for a job and I didn't know if I should put that one or your number on as a reference. I'm like, definitely don't put the call-in email address for our fucking internet podcast on as the point of contact for me or Irrational Passions as a company, because when you call it, it goes directly to voicemail and it's audio of me as a 19-year-old kid saying, hey, if you'd like to record a message, say so after the beep.
Or definitely do that.
Or maybe do it. Because I don't know what will happen at that point.
I'm tempted to leave a voicemail.
Evan texted me that this week. Have you attempted to leave a voicemail? You should.
I want to.
Next
week I'll do it.
All right. Do it.
Just remind me.
Okay. All right. Scott White at SolidSnake120, whose current Twitter name is clever Halloween name at IP, which I appreciate because I can't think of a clever Halloween name either. He says, what smaller titles do you think people may have missed, but that should be played before putting together their top 10 games of the 2019 list? It's a really great question.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you,
Please
Scott.
tell me, because I don't think I played any fucking new games this year.
It's fair.
Satisfactory came out this year.
Satisfactory.
It's not out.
It's early access though, so
same fucking shit.
No, it's
People
not.
put PUBG on their list.
Yeah, but
that's because they have no integrity.
You probably didn't know this, but I was very adamantly against that.
It's true.
My game's all right.
We talked about it a lot that year. We had a great conversation actually about that. Let's I'll take a look at this very long list of games that I've purchased this year. So 2019 game, little games that people miss. I think Sayonara Wild Hearts is a darling that a lot of people like. Bloodstained is one that sticks out for me. It's a $40 game, but if you're into Metroidvanias, I thought that game was actually really great. Let's see. Dauntless came out on consoles this year. Katana Zero is really, really great. Cadence of Hyrule, I know, Quin, you don't need me to sell that for you, but that is like definitely one of my favorite games of the year. The
best soundtrack of the year.
It's very good. The Messenger DLC came out this year, so if you missed that game, that's a great reason to go back to it. Blackout Club, which I've talked about on the show a little bit, is really cool. I don't know what the status of it is right now, but I was a fan of it when I played it. And those are the big ones that I've played this year. I don't know, like Katana Zero and Cadence of Hyrule are probably the ones that I would say like, hey, if you missed those, you should play them because they're like $10 to $20 and they're worth playing. What about you, Quinn? I feel like you probably got way more.
Yeah, because I try to mainly play indie games. I would just say Metro Exodus. Like that's probably the biggest one I'll put out.
It's not a small game though.
But it's people will forget it is what I'm
sure
say. Cadence is obvious. Void Bastards. That's a great game. I really dug. I played 10 hours of it. I really liked what it was going for. The Outer Wilds is another one, I think, but that's had chatter about it.
Yeah.
Let's see. A Short Hike. Assemble. What the Golf. Jenny LeClue. Manifold Garden.
Jenny LeClue review up on the site too for folks.
Go read that and or listen to it. Good game. And Baba Is You.
Yeah, Baba's U's a great one. Scott, are you still playing that?
Yep.
Cool.
I stopped
Don't judge
playing.
me. I'm smart.
There's an RPG without combat that just came out that everyone's been talking about. It's like on PC only, I think.
Undertale. Yeah. That's pretty good.
No, a newer one.
Deltarune.
Undertale that second playthrough. Got it.
Yeah, the genocide playthrough of Undertale.
No, that's a very combat oriented.
Yeah, no, you're right. I can't remember it. I think Mike mentioned it in our Slack, and I'm looking for it. But it's one that I am gonna try and play before the end of the year.
I will say, if people are able to, please play Manifold Garden. That is one that I don't think a lot of people are going to mention it. I'm going to mention it here. That game has blown my mind open and closed it. Like, the way it thinks about dimensions, colors, and gravity, velocity, and some like basic physical properties is bananas. Please play it. That's all I'm
Disco
saying.
Elysium is the game I'm thinking of. I really need to play this. Nick Verge from Papa Jenna had a great Twitter thread about it. But it seems really cool.
Fun fact.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if y'all trust Moises Tavares, his opinions on games. Hit or miss.
This is a leading statement.
He told me, because I was tempted to check it out at One Pack C 2 years ago. 2 years ago or last year? One of the that it was bad. So that's my judgment of even though it's getting all this buzz, I trust Moises.
I don't trust Moises that much.
So I do.
But also, like, that's a PAX demo. It's
true.
Different thing.
I also just don't like that art style for that game.
Yeah, it's a weird art style, but conceptually it seems really cool. Nabashan, I know you haven't played a lot of small games, but I know you've purchased and checked out a lot of ones. River City Girls, I know, is a big one for you, but are there any other standouts?
I never got to play it myself, but my friend is Pedro. Seemed like a fun game.
Oh yeah, I think Jarrett reviewed that for us.
He wrote a feature, yeah.
Pretty sick jumps in that game.
Some sick jumps, one would say.
Yeah.
Lame jumps.
How many? Who knows?
Lame.
Yeah, well, Scott, you didn't get to decide.
No, he actually did.
Except he did.
He said they were all sick jumps.
At the time, you said sick. That's all that matters. This is a great dumb show that we do. Anything else?
I don't know if you said Katana Zero already.
I did. I like Katana Zero a lot.
I didn't really play too many games that much, but like A Plague Tale Innocence, though, like something on my mind that was really good this year. Yeah,
it's a cool one. It's I don't know if that's still $50. I'm sure you can probably get it for cheaper, but A Plague Tale is cool. I don't love it as much as I wanted to, but I think it's still worth playing if you're into that kind of game. So,
should I play it? Is my question.
I don't think you would love it, to be honest.
Okay.
I think it's very like you can't necessarily change the path that you're on, so I don't know if you would jive with that, but I think you would appreciate the kind of brother sister story that's at the core of it.
Mm-hmm. I know there's stealth, which
stealth is great in that game too. But it is like, it's you're playing through. It's very much like The Last of Us type thing, right? Like, it is kind of delivering you this narrative in a very linear way. But I think there are parts about that narrative that are really great. And they approach sibling relationships in a way that is more interesting than you would first think. It has a lot of nuance.
Okay.
But
I'll add it to my 2020 list of things to play.
yeah, I mean, certainly not one that I think you need to play before Game of the Year. I think I'll have us covered in that. I don't think it's gonna take home all the golds, but it is worth talking about, certainly. Yeah, those are the big ones. That I can think of. Tony, Scott, do you all have any little games that you want to shout out from this year?
I think Quinn covered mine.
Okay. Yeah, Bob, is you. Shout out.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing, Tony.
GTA Simulator.
GTA RP.
There
I
you go.
never actually played that.
Damn, that's a bummer. You and Greg Blaney could get together, get on some
I don't know.
Australian server.
I don't think that's. I think it's something that I more enjoyed watching than playing.
Yeah, I get you. Are you still watching it all or no?
Nope.
It comes and goes. The love of Tony Horvath. It's a really good question, though, Scott. It's something we're thinking about now. A lot. I think that's the only question we got this week, but I like that one. Thank you everybody for hanging out, for tuning in. We are at the end of the show. A couple of quick things I want to throw out there real quick before we close out this podcast and get into our final segment here. If you like the show, you should follow us and follow our other shows at Irrational Pod on Twitter, Irrational Passions on Instagram. Do a bunch of other shows like Input, RPG University, Video Game Book Club. Some of those are on hiatus right now. RPG U is still going strong. Scott's gotten such a warm response from that show. It's warmed my heart. Like, it's about talking about your favorite RPGs and reliving your kind of favorite moments and also like sharing them with other people. A lot of people have just let him know that they really appreciate like the kind of reverence that those episodes give. So if you have a favorite RPG that they've talked about, you should listen to an episode and get all nostalgia. But irrationalpassions.com, that's where all the good stuff is. Go there, check it out. There's plenty of great stuff there at all times. One thing I totally meant to say this at the beginning of the show and I forgot. I'm so sorry. You should, if you were listening to this or watching it, regardless, Thursday, October 31st, twitch.tv/Irrational Passions. Mike Burgess is coming to my house and we're playing Luigi's Mansion 3 all day.
Alex.
Yes.
Print out that goddamn mask.
There might be a Luigi mask. We will see. It is undecided. But you should tune in. It's going to be all day. We don't know the times yet, but like I know at the very least, at the latest, we will be starting by noon Eastern time. And we're going to go for as long as we want, presumably until like 9 or 10 p.m. Eastern time. So it's going to be very chill. I understand a lot of people want to kind of see some of that stuff for the first time, but you know, we're just going to leisurely pace. I'm Gooigi, he's Truigi, and we're gonna see how far we get and just have a good time. Probably order some pizza.
I've heard the game's not super long.
That's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping it's going to be a full
playthrough. You guys
playthrough.
might beat it.
That's the goal. But I've only seen a very little bit of that game, and it just looks absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, tune in for that. Otherwise, a couple of things that I want to shout out on irrationalpassions.com. If you missed it, Video Game Book Club Season 1 has officially ended with the end of Luigi's Mansion. Scott and I had a great conversation on that last episode. It's just the two of us. Quinn, your Dishonored feature went up this week. You already mentioned it, but you should absolutely check it out. And Tony, you might like this. Scott White sat down and interviewed Chris Kao, I think it is. I don't know, Kao, who's the executive producer of MTG Arena. Talked about what they're doing with that game and kind of like the format for it. So yeah, ton of other great stuff on irrationalpassions.com. Jared had a great feature about John Wick Hex, the John Wick game that came out recently, which he ended up having more problems with than he was hoping, but he had still a lot of great stuff to say about it. So yeah, go check out irrationalpatches.com. That's it. That's the show. We've reached the end. It is time now for bets.
Also, I might be doing Extra Life this week. We'll see.
Also, Nomishin might do an Extra Life stream this week. We'll see.
I hope he does.
We'll keep you posted, but it could be Danganronpa related. This week's bet. Quinn, I'm happy to say the editorial team's in the standing again. So
Fuck yeah, baby. That's how we do.
This week's bet. This is a weird one, and I have a different idea for it. Nabashin, that maybe might work better, but I'll read it out first as is, and then we'll talk about it. What will the 5 picks for the 5 nominees for Game of the Year for the Game Awards 2019 be? Now this is tough because I know not all of us are necessarily, like, I have 5. You asked me this question last night, Option, so I have 5 locked and loaded, right? But not all of us might, and all of us might have some pretty similar answers. So I was thinking as an alternative is let's list off 9 games, and I have the 9 in my head to some extent, and what won't be a nominee for the Game of the Year. How do you like that, Nomishin?
I like it.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do
So
the 9.
question.
Yeah.
Is it games that are already released or including unreleased games?
It's including unreleased games that qualify for the Game Awards. So it's basically
which is like 2.
it's Pokemon and Death Stranding are pretty much the only other ones.
And
Star
Jedi.
Wars.
Oh, and Jedi. Correct. Good point.
Come on, you guys are forgetting the Star Wars.
I was thinking Jedi and Death Stranding. I wasn't thinking Pokemon. Honestly.
I was thinking Pokemon. Yeah. Hey, we got them all covered. So instead, I'm gonna let's write down 9 games, and we can kind of workshop these together. I can tell you the ones that I have in mind, and then of this list, we're gonna each bet what we think will not be a nominee for the Game Awards Game of the Year for 2019. Got it? So the 5 that I had locked and loaded that I would have bet would be Death Stranding, because come on, at this point Keely's in the game. We gotta like cross this line somewhere here. Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and I know some of y'all forgot about that game, but everyone was talking about that game for like 2 straight months. All right, that game's gonna be one of the nominees. I don't care what anybody says. At this point, I would, since we're expanding,
apparently you should care what a lot of people say because that's the whole point of the bet.
I know. I'm gonna add this because we have a list of 9 here. Outer Worlds, I think we could probably even throw in there. Although if there's like an easy out here, maybe we shouldn't. Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, because it was revealed at the Game Awards that it obviously qualifies. What are the other games I said now, Machine? God, I'm so dumb.
Did you say Apex?
I didn't. Apex Legends is going on.
Did you say Resident Evil?
I didn't. Resident Evil 2, another good one. Sekiro, Death Stranding, Fire Emblem, Outer Worlds, Apex, Resident Evil 2. Do you think... No, Kingdom Hearts 3 is not going to be on the list.
No.
Damn.
That's like me saying Deathloop is a game that's coming out next year. Come on.
It's true. Fair enough. You can dream.
Hey, man.
What's
Always
going
dreaming.
on what list?
So this would be like the nominees for Game of the Year at the Game Awards. So like going off of like what would be the Game Awards. Oh God, there's one more I had for sure.
Outer Wilds. Let me pull up the fucking list.
Let me pull up the list. God, I'm so pissed that I should have written it down last night. Because that would have been the smart thing to do. Death Stranding.
Rage 2 is on there.
Okay, I'll put Rage 2 there. Although I don't think...
No, don't.
It's
a game I sent to Jared and like, you can keep this.
Devil May Cry 5 is fair.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to make it. I think you and I are in the same
No,
game.
it's not, but it's one of the top review games this year.
Yeah, true.
Like I would say the same thing with the Astral Chain, but like I know definitely that's not going to be on the top of the list, even though that's like the third highest review game this year.
Mm-hmm.
Sayonara is going to be on there.
No, I think the Outer Wilds will get that before Sayonara does.
Yeah, I would say like Outer Wilds would be the
Okay.
indie game that might make it. Because I can't necessarily think of any other one that like is a big standout. Gosh, I feel like there was was there a big game
Gears
in March?
5?
What'd you say?
Gears 5?
Gears 5. Gears of War 5 might do it.
Yeah, I think it's so different conceptually.
Yeah. Okay, that's 8. I feel like there was a game last night, Option, that I
Control, is that on there?
Control. Yeah, but that's not gonna make it. Which is a bummer.
Y'all,
It's not. I'm sorry, Quinn. It's listen, our personal the Irrational Passions game of the year, I'm fucking saying it right now, it's probably gonna be Control. But the other people
that means I gotta get my hands on it now, don't I? Huh?
other people just don't feel the same. You should try it, Scott.
Yeah,
what
so
about
it'll become the game of the year.
Well, the editorial game of the year, so you want to
Like the whole thing about this, that's why I said it this way for the Game Awards particularly. It's like it's just thinking about like a group of industry people thinking about like, oh, what's the most game you can get? What's the sexiest game you can get? What's like the most critical game you can get? It's like something that's like you wouldn't probably personally say, but like something that's like an all-encompassing thing where it's like, yeah, this will be nominated. That's why I would say Death Stranding will be nominated. Will it win? Probably not.
Let's do it this way. Let's make this list, and then with that in mind, let's each bet the 4 that we think is going to get. I guess we could all pick the same thing. Yeah, it's tough. And just see,
Would we all pick the same thing?
Would we all pick the same thing? I don't know.
I already put mine out on Twitter, so
Yeah. Okay, let's how about we just pick 5 games that we think will be in the nominees, and the person that gets the most right will get it. And it could be any games, but this is the one just for Scott and Tony, who might not know all the big hitters that would probably be it. Death Stranding, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Outer Worlds, Sekiro, Apex Legends, Resident Evil 2, Outer Wilds, which is a different game, and Gears of War 5. With
Final
those
Fantasy 14
Shadowbringers, people like that
Monster
game.
Hunter World Iceborne.
Yeah, but they're not gonna put expansions on there.
that's an expansion.
Um,
Trust me, if fucking Death of the Outsider, I get shamed for that, and that's a standalone release. Iceborne ain't getting shit.
or it will, and the Death of the Outsider thing was just to spite you this whole time.
Yeah, you're not getting shit for that. You're getting shit because you're Quinn, and we need an excuse.
I'm gonna physically strangle someone. Keely, I'm coming for you.
Keely, look out. Okay, then I'm gonna write mine. We'll each pick 5, and we'll just do it. We'll do the DAG thing, and if it works out, great. If it doesn't, great. So Nabashin, what do you think the 5 nominees for Game of the Year for the Game Awards will be, or 5 of them, or whatever? Because there might be 6. They might do that again. I don't know.
Yeah, I know. Resident Evil 2, Death Stranding, Apex Legend, Sekiro, and Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order.
And Jedi. Okay. I'm gonna say Death Stranding, Fire Emblem, RE2, Sekiro, and
Super Mario Maker 2.
shout out. And Apex. Fuck it. Scott Guthier, do you understand, and do you have 5 games?
You could write it in the chat.
You can
I understand. I don't think there's any way I'm going to get to 5 games.
All right, list off the ones you got. What do you again? We're just
all right
guessing what the Game Awards picks are going to be. So, not things you have to agree with.
Metro Exodus.
Metro.
Yes.
Exodus.
Crackdown 3.
Oh, God, most disappointing, huh? What a weird.
You had to expect something to be disappointed.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Rage 2 is on that.
Scott, is Death Stranding on that list?
Well, originally it was only 3.
Yeah. It's 5 now, so we're throwing a lot of spaghetti at the wall.
Right. But I mean, like, my list was originally only 3.
Okay, give me your 3 then.
Satisfactory, Metro Exodus, and Death Stranding.
Hell yeah, Satisfactory coming in.
But
Metro
now that you said
Exodus.
Crackdown, I'm predicting that there's a new game coming out that's a spin-off of Crackdown called Crackdown on the Crackdown.
Crackdown on the Crackdown.
Yes.
And it'll come out in the next week, so it'll be nominated for the game.
Exactly. It's a shadow drop of all shadow drops. Crackdown. Do you have a 5th game? I guess that. Yeah, that's 4. Do you have a 5th?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I do not.
Okay. Do I write in ballot, or do you want to just take 4? Who's taking
What are we doing?
I was gonna write in one for. I was gonna suggest one for you, but we're just taking the 4.
Team Sonic Racing.
Team Sonic Racing.
Hell no.
Shout out.
Yes.
Not even for a joke, man. Come
Not
on.
even for the
Not,
joke.
not even for it. No.
Absolutely not, Nabashin. Come on. Tony.
Dude, I don't fucking know.
All right, so Death Stranding. What else, Tony? Fire Emblem?
What? No, take Death Stranding off the list. I think that game's gonna.
Okay.
Fire Emblem and Spaces 1 through 5,
Okay. Fire Emblem.
and then Fire Emblem and Spaces 6 through 99. How's that make you feel?
What about 6
We
through
good?
69?
I could be down.
All right, nice. Quinn.
Oh wait, it's backwards. I wrote it down. The Outer World, The Outer Wilds, Control, Sayonara Wild Hearts. I originally wrote Death Stranding, then I crossed it out and put Untitled Goose. And Apex Legends.
Okay, so Outer Worlds, Outer Wilds.
Control,
Sayonara.
Sayonara, Goose Game.
That's 5.
Oh yeah, I thought we were doing 6, so I did. Yeah.
Do you want to switch one of those out?
Nope.
Cool.
Goose Game stays on.
Cool. Nabashin, what were your 5 again, just to make sure for me?
The Resident Evil 2, Death Stranding, Apex Legends, Sekiro, and Jedi Fallen Order.
Okay. Cool. Last week's bet, I haven't actually checked this one. I'm curious to see how this one's going to pan out. How many helmets will I see in the launch trailer for Outer Worlds? Anybody watch this launch trailer?
No, who watches launch trailers?
I do.
What's
I really
spoilers?
like launch trailers, weirdly enough.
Oh, we got to do this now.
Oh yeah, we're gonna do this. We're gonna do this live. I don't know. There's something like I feel like a launch trailer. Like, all right, I'll say this right because launch trailers used to have a lot of gameplay in them. They don't anymore.
Mhm.
Really?
Um,
I haven't watched them in a long time.
Yeah. So like, launch trailers used to be good. They're not great anymore, to be honest. Like the Borderlands 3 launch trailer was garbage, I thought. But I didn't like a lot of the trailers for Borderlands, so I guess maybe I'm just not the target audience. Quinn, I
Like
think
the last,
I think
the
you
last,
got your mic switched again, just as a heads up.
like the last launch trailer I watched was Mass Effect 3's, and that's where it showed like there was an Asari
A female?
sorry Reaper, whatever you call this. I can't
Oh
remember.
yeah, the like
Yeah.
the spooky ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
that's what
back.
Spoiled that. So
Hey,
I was
welcome
like,
back.
Damn it. So there you go.
I get
So
it.
I have the trailer.
I counted 3 in the first group chat, Quinn.
Okay, I'm booting it up now.
Oh, are those 2? No, those are robots. Robots don't count.
Okay.
3, 4, 5, 6,
That's 2.
7, 8.
I think they're called
Is that
games.
is the moon head a helmet?
No,
Okay, then 8.
it's technically a piece of clothing.
Okay. 9. That guy's wearing a helmet. I was right once. 10. That guy had a helmet. 11.
Who has the most? Who has the most?
Yeah, who's the most? Oh, no one had helmets there. 11. Now the player doesn't 13, 14, 15. Okay. 16, that was a helmet. 17. That's a like a stock image, so I won't count that. 17 is my count. Let's see, what do we say?
Between Scott and Scott. The Scott's got it.
Fuck, dude. Double on that. That gets him another 10 points, dude. How many helmets will I see in the launch trailer? I said 11. Scott Guthier said 20. Nobshin said 2. Tony said 0. Scott White said 15. Which is another fucking 10 points for Class 7. Which means they don't win bonus points anymore, though. So, Quinn.
Well, that's not 10. It rolled up last time because there was no guest the previous week.
It's true. So how much would you give this week?
It's 5.
Okay. I would say that there's still probably...
We didn't miss a guest the 1 week before.
No, we didn't. You're right. So it would just be 5. Which I would still say would take them out of the... maybe they would get one more. So that brings... So Quinn... Scott White did update the team name for the editorial team. So again, you now have the opportunity to update that name. The team scores as is because Scott White won the bet. Team About to Bust a Bet, still in the lead, 28 points. Team Doubling Down, second place, 24 points. Class 7, which is now the editorial team, 23 points.
Oh, that's some Trials of Cold Steel.
Trails of Cold Steel.
Because I had edited his primer. I know that reference.
There you got it. Would you like to change the name?
What is... kind of just want to make it like something like all-encompassing.
Okay.
So is that a yes or a no?
I'm changing the name.
Okay, you got a minute.
You got a minute.
The Juniper Grove.
Okay.
That's the most Quinn name you could have.
Alex, do you remember the name that it defaults to if they don't make it?
I think they were just the editorial team was the default name.
No, it wasn't.
Was there?
Oh, this would be great if somebody misses it.
Okay. All right. I don't remember. I think you guys thought of something, but I don't remember what it was.
No, I'm pretty sure you thought of it.
I might have.
You were proud of it.
I don't remember. Much like most things, I just don't remember. Cool. This it's been an interesting year for bets. Year 3 is when things get really interesting.
I counted 19, by the way.
Okay, 19. Still would go to Scott White because he had 20.
No, we'll go to Scott.
Oh, Scott Guthier?
Yes.
Ooh, do we have some contention here? Do we have to roll the tape? I would let's investigate this. I'm gonna do a play-by-play. I'll follow up next week because I don't want to necessarily spend more time just watching a trailer on this podcast. But that could be if it doesn't go to Scott White and goes to Scott Guthier, that would change the points up a lot. So I'll have to.
It would.
All right, then I'll follow up with that next week, next bets segment, and we'll find out. Do you know, Namashi, when they're announcing the Game Awards nominees?
No, but it should be soon.
Yeah, it's probably sometime for second week in November. So
I would say middle.
Yeah, well, we won't know an answer to next week's bet next week, but we'll probably know it soon.
We gotta do our player votes.
Yeah, we gotta submit our user votes for the Game Awards.
Yeah, let's vote for Ninja.
Everyone vote for the Trending Gamer. I wonder if they're going to retire that category this year fully.
After all the problematic people they nominate?
Yeah, probably.
After they nominate like the only good person, then it's like downhill from there.
It's all downhill from there. Time to hang this one up. Cool. That's the whole show. Thanks everybody for hanging out, for listening. Thanks for joining us, Quinn. I hope you had a good time.
My pleasure. Yeah.
It's been a fun show. Good conversations on this one, as per usual. I feel like we've been on top of our game as far as having good chats for like the last 100 episodes.
So, question.
Yeah.
Is there no silver PR this week?
There's no silver PR this week. There hasn't been silver PR in a hot minute.
Okay.
It's been about a month, maybe 2, since he sent that voicemail.
I'm just so used to losing in such fucking piss poor fashion that I miss it.
It's fair. None this week, but maybe soon. Silver, if you're listening, I'm sure you are, but we love you still. Thank you to everyone who tuned in to listen, subscribe, everyone who supports us. I very much appreciate it. If you take the time, you are part of my heart forever, certainly. Thank you to Danny Wiesner for our opening music of Two Player Co-op and our closing music of The World is Saved. Thank you, Scott, Tony, and Nobshin for joining me every week. As always, I love you boys. You make my week 100% better 100% of the time. Thank you, Quinn, again for joining us. I've been Alex O'Neill. Play your games, stay irrational. We will talk to you all next week.
Titles?
Okay.
Is
There
it that
are-
time once again?
It's that time once
There-
again.
There are 3 attached to me, and I don't know how to feel.
That's why you say a lot of dumb shit on this show. People are going to remember.
Hey, man, I say a lot of dumb shit
So
in general.
we got Quinn back on his bullshit. Drop the 64 pack.
That's good.
Garrett the Skype stand. And Critical Role, my favorite immersive sim.
That's good. That's a very good thematic title for this show. I like Drop the 64 pack because that was the funniest thing
Same.
that Scott said all week. It's very good.
Because I'm thinking of just Scott holding like a 64 pack of beer.
Just dropping it.
Excuse me?
Yeah.
Dropping a 64 pack of beer?
Just
Yeah.
drop it right on my head. End me. Set me free. Yeah, just the imagery of Scott dropping 64 of anything is pretty great.
He's just holding it in his hand like a
Yeah, one-handed.
Yeah.
He's so strong.
At least 50 pounds?
At least. Certainly it's got to be more.
Yeah, because a 30 pack's 25 pounds.
They're
so-
cans too.
Yeah, that shit's fucking heavy, dude. Let me tell you.
Glass bottles.
Oh, we got to go deeper.
No.
No, please. Nabashin, what do you like?
Yeah, I'm good with that. 64 pack.
Tony?
I like it.
All right. That's enough votes. Quinn, you know what to say, or you want me to write it?
Oh, I need to get. Do I need my audio up or no?
No.
Okay, what do I say?
All right, let me write it down.
Okay. Do my patented what I do for my audio read.
You just do that like 3 times before?
Yeah.
Written in bold. Scott, it's your bit. I'm going to make you say the title. Whenever you're ready, Quinn.
Oh, I was waiting for a countdown. Howdy there. You're listening to a Rational Passions podcast, episode 445.
Drop the 64 pack.
Boom!
Oh, beer!
We were all going in the right direction. I'm just going to throw that in, too. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We love you all. Have a good night.
Tony.
Do.
Yes.
You